Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we're discussing one of the most sought Bethune DB25 models ever, the Midnight Blue. Launched in 2014 and only made in 27 copies, this timepiece is popular because of its expressive and artisanally crafted dial and its appealing combination of a slim case and an automatic movement. It's one of the most classically beautiful modern debethune watches. For those who are coming from Holy Trinity, Langa, a more conservative independent like F. Pjorn, this could be your bridge to the world of debethune, or maybe just your only debethune if you want everything in your collection to remain classical. This is for those who want the same tech spec and features as, say, a DB28, but they don't want the space-age style. Okay, so 44 millimeters in diameter. It's very thin, at 10.3 millimeters thick, rose gold, from lug tip to lug tip, 51.1 millimeters with a 24 millimeter spacing between the lugs. While it is a large watch, it is not a huge watch. On my 16 centimeter circumference wrist, you can see it wears well. Super flat with a domed bezel. It slides easily under a dress cuff. Over the top always exaggerates the width of a watch. Down the barrel is really the definitive angle. If you're looking at a watch on your own wrist, this is the definitive angle. And you can see I've got a little bit of clearance all the same. There are smaller DB25s like the Stradivarius and 42. If your wrist is smaller than mine, so smaller than 16 centimeters, you're going to want to go for the 42. If your wrist is my size or larger, game on. This strap is a debethune factory piece. It's got a gusset sewn in to prevent gouging and improve the longevity of the strap. You can see blue textile on the top, buttery calfskin on the bottom. Again, no crimping, no gouging. It has a folded edge and a monotone stitch. It's actually quite substantial. Taking a quick look, you can also appreciate that this is made by Jean Rousseau of Paris, which is the OEM supplier, that is the original equipment supplier from the factory for debethune, but also for F. Pjorn. This one's double signed. And then we've got a debethune buckle. You can see that it is a matching rose gold piece, that it is internally hallmarked as the debethune buckles from this period were. And you can see that at debethune, the buckle generally matches the character of the lugs. So if you have conventional lugs and a conventional case, you generally have a conventional buckle. The DB28s and 27s, of course, are a little bit more elaborate. Here, like I said, solid dial, round case, fixed lugs. If you don't want to go full star command, this is the debethune for you. And you can see right at the end of the lug, there's this little ogival or bullet tip. And this is the last styling vestige of the original DB1 chronograph, the company's first product from 2002. With the exception of some of the early DB20 models, this has been a constant across almost all of the company's model lines and eras. It's usually very subtle when it's expressed on a modern watch, but there it is. The lugs, as you can see, are joined to the case and welded into place, which is a very manual and time-consuming way of making a case because you have to then clean up the weld by filing. Debethune is a manufacturer in every sense, making its own cases, dials, and movements, even small parts like the balance wheel. So they fabricated everything you see here. The money goes into the watches, not enriching the watchmakers. You can also see, though, that there's a little bit of an open, airy, flying buttress-like quality to this lug. It is fixed, but it is not conventional. The crown is unsigned because Denis Flageolet, co-founder and creative lead at debethune to this day, likes to pay homage to history, and historically crowns generally did not include branding. But there's also this lovely knurling pattern that includes blocks and drilling. It's a push-down crown, 30 meters water resistant. Now taking a look at the dial, this is the Midnight Blue. There is a Midnight White, which is sort of the inverse of this, but the center dial is mirror polished, what is called black polish, because you could see at any angle except the one reflective angle, it turns black. So that's black polish on titanium. Very discreet branding. You start to move away, you can't see it. You may ask, why doesn't it say Swiss made? Because when you're shopping at this level, you know that it's Swiss made. You know exactly who made the watch, where it was made, and probably even how many were made. And because Swiss made is 60% total value or more, and this is closer to 90% Swiss, no Swiss made. So center dial is mirror polished and then fired in a kiln to achieve that lush and lovely blue. And that is something that debethune does in-house as well. The hands, which the company makes, are modified Breguet in rose gold, and then the outer track, outboard, is actually vitreous-fired Grand Faux enamel. So fired up to 20 times at 800 degrees Celsius, anything can happen. The vitreous glass-based paint can run. The enamel can crack. It can even explode. So you have not one but two artisanal dial elements here. Grand Faux enamel, polished and fired titanium. Turn it all over, and when I say this is not a lesser debethune, it's a more conservative one, this is what I really mean. All the technology you associate with the DB28 is here on the case back, and then some. Because the DB28 generally is not an automatic winding watch. What we have here is an automatic winding watch with 6 days of power reserve, courtesy of twin mainspring barrels. The shock-resistant winding system, triple shock protection on the balance bridge, the design of the balance wheel, the curve of the hairspring, all of these things are patented. We have more fire-blued titanium, but here in a matte finish. And you can see there's a combination of snailing, brushing, and media blast across the surface here. You do have twin barrels, which are self-adjusting, another patented element. And taking a look, you can see at center there are 4 cantilever springs for the rotor. So the idea is to draw the rotor out as far as possible. This is a 30-millimeter diameter movement, so properly sized for a big watch. And Denis wanted to have the longest possible lever arm for more efficient winding. It's a bidirectional system that's lever-based. And the longer you make that lever, you do improve the polar moment or the turning force, but then you also create the possibility that might torque side to side. So to prevent that kind of motion, these 4 cantilever springs are deployed, and then to prevent friction when spring touches the rotor, each one features 3 friction-reducing jewels. So those are anti-friction jewels. Now, the balance. Lots to see here. Debethune has no fewer than 10 individual balance designs. Denis replaces and upgrades the balance every time he creates a more aerodynamically efficient, thermostatic, and maximally, I would say, momentous balance. And by that, I mean it has a polar moment that gives it a greater turning force with the optimal amount of mass in the outer edge of the wheel. You want to have as much of the total mass as possible in the outer edge of the wheel. That's why here you can see we have this yoke-like shape. It's actually not a wheel, it's a balance yoke with platinum masses outboard. And so the idea here being it's aerodynamic, temperature will not change its timing, and then it maximizes the mass in the outer edge of the balance. Now, taking a look at the hairspring, you can see it's flat, but it's got an unconventional terminal curve. What you can't see is that it's actually 2 pieces that are cut apart, shaped by hand using Debethune's patented curve, and then clamped back together to create what is thin and shock-resistant like a flat hairspring, but also able to breathe concentrically and keep consistent time isochronously in every position like an overcoil. So what we also have, because it goes on and on and on, the innovation doesn't really stop here. And by the way, this watch was one of the first 5 made. I'm not giving you the serial, but I'm going to give you a little bit of a clue. 1, 2, 3 shock protection springs. You've got Inca block at center, and then steel springs with jewels at the edge. The idea here is 1, prevent damage. 2, there's less of a chance of the pivot of the balance staff moving out of its cup jewel if the outer springs can take in the shock and not require the displacement of the balance staff pivot at center. So that keeps the balance optimally centered in its cup jewel more often for better timekeeping. So it's not just to survive abuse, it's also there for better timekeeping. It beats away at 4 hertz, again 6 days of power reserve, automatically wound, and it has 49 joules in part because of the additional joules added by the triple parachute system, and then you've got the 12 at center for the shock protection system of the rotor. A really cool watch with an extraordinary dial and unarguable rarity, with only 26 besides this one extant in the world. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.